Is it live? Is it live? Yes, we're back. We're back. The F1 manager graphics are just too realistic, basically. And now my job is much harder because now I have to really let you know what's going on, which is very difficult. Hang on. Maybe I should put in text. This is This is clearly F1 Manager, right? Can people tell this isn't the real Miami GP, or is my 3080 that good? Right. Okay. I need to update you on the race now. Now I've got to work really hard. Man, this is good. I'm not cut out for this. Okay. Verstappen still hasn't pitted. Ocon hasn't pitted. Hamilton hasn't pitted, but Hamilton has got past Hulkenberg. And Verstappen is 16 seconds ahead of Perez, which is absolutely insane. Welcome, Kip. Yeah, slight issue with the stream. They didn't like my F1 manager footage. I'll be in touch. Don't worry. Russell is slowly making his way through that pack of cars. In fact, I think he might have just got past Tsunoda, who was actually leading that sort of train of cars. The rest is back here again. Cameras on the tarmac. I don't know if it's going to rain, but there were just cameras pointed at the tarmac there. Welcome, Kaya. Did Science get the penalty? Was that a 5-second penalty for Science then? F1 is, what's your take on the Sir Jamie Stewart and the bodyguard before the race? I didn't see that, unfortunately. Welcome back, German Kiwi. Thanks for your donation, by the way. The €10. Massively appreciate it. Absolute legend.
Ocon has also pitted.
Yeah, everyone in the race now is on hard tyres. But you need to, in the dry, you need to do 2 compounds. So, Albon's not happy about pushing too hard. He's dropped down massively. He was like in P8 or something, P9. Now he's in P16. But some drivers still to pit. Basically, the drivers that started on the hard tyre. There's another Mercedes stuck behind Hulkenberg. I was like, surely not, but it's Russell this time. Russell stuck behind. Welcome, Funky. Max will pit about lap 40, F1 edit saying. So we're on lap 28 at the moment. Lap 28 out of 57. And Verstappen is 16 seconds ahead of Perez. Perez now set fastest lap. So I'll tell you what, it is a bit interesting because does anyone know exactly what the pit loss is? Is Verstappen definitely going to come out ahead of Perez? I mean, the Red Bulls here are going to be miles away from anyone else. I'm certain. But who is going to win amongst the Red Bulls? We will see. 19 seconds is a pit loss, and Verstappen is only 16 seconds ahead of Perez. At the moment, Verstappen would come out behind Perez, but Verstappen would be on medium tyres. So it depends what the better tyre to be on would be. Leclerc was on the medium tyres earlier, struggling. Leclerc is not even in the points, by the way. Leclerc is in 13th.
Doing a good job so far.
And Hamilton is deceptively high because he's in P6, but he hasn't pitted. And Alonso is in P4 and hasn't pitted, right? I don't think Alonso's pitted. Correct me if I'm wrong. Actually, I might be wrong about that. Maybe Alonso has pitted. Maybe Alonso's starting on mediums now on the hards. If so, it's not looking too bad for Alonso because he's a second ahead of Sainz. So it could be working out okay for him. But yeah, you look at Leclerc. I mean, the only drivers behind Leclerc are two Alphas, two Williams, two McLarens, and De Vries for some reason so far. But I think he had that changed, didn't he? Welcome, Eric. Predictions who will win is it's got to be Verstappen, but you have to say that Perez is not giving up without a fight. There's some debris on the back straight there. I thought there was some rain falling. They have an icon that's like wind direction, but it looks like rain. It looks like blue skies. I'd be surprised if there's rain. I'm not going to put the graphics up because I don't want to risk it. Well, I could put my own graphics up, but they're quite a pain to do. But for the next one, we'll do our own graphics. Yeah, loads of people started on mediums. I mean, Verstappen started on mediums. No, he hasn't. Verstappen hasn't pitted so out. It's very stupid to me. Verstappen's starting on hards and he has not pitted yet. He's leading by 16 seconds, but he's not really extending that gap. If there was a safety car, it'd ruin Verstappen. Yes, because he would get overtaken. He might get a relatively cheap pit stop though. Doesn't it? Depends really on when the safety car is and where he is in relation to it. If the safety car happens just as he's approaching the pits and he pits, then he's going to be absolutely fine. It wouldn't ruin him at all. In fact, that's exactly where you'd want to be. He's gained 8 positions though in the race. Hamilton's gained 7 positions. Lance Stroll has gained 7 positions. Lance Stroll was doing really badly, but he's gained 7. It's quite a lot. But I have to be honest, I don't think it's the most exciting race in the world, is it? Or maybe that's the wrong way of putting it, but it sort of exposes how good the Red Bulls are. Lance started P18. Oh, wow. Pretty good by Lance. That's why he was at the back. Welcome, JJ. Good to see you. I think the most exciting thing about this race is going to be, can Alonso hold on to P3? Because you're going to have Alonso, Sainz, Russell's going to probably catch on to the back of it. I think Ocon and Hamilton still at the pit. So the order is Verstappen first, Perez second, Alonso third, Sainz fourth, and then Ocon and Hamilton fifth and sixth, but I still think they need to pit, and then Russell seventh. But I might be wrong on that. But I think Hamilton still needs to pit. I think Hamilton's still on the Verstappen strat. This race is now just waiting to see what happens when Verstappen pits, basically. Yeah, Formula E is just insane. We'll definitely be at Rome and we'll definitely be at London Formula E. So we'll be there for the last race of the season in London, behind the scenes. So hopefully we can do some cool stuff there if there's going to be a championship battle. Yeah, from a team management perspective, there's no point the Red Bulls fighting. Like, they've got first and second absolutely sewn up here, but we'll see if they do fight. Or if there's any team orders or stuff like that. Yeah, there's some debris on the back straight. It looks like the carcass of a tyre or something. I imagine there's discussions about whether they need to bring out a safety car. It's kind of by the side of the track, but it looks quite big. It looks like a whole tyre carcass. I don't know what it is. I remember last year there was a lot of debris on that part of the track, like crisp packets and stuff, weren't there? Piece of plastic. Perez is fast as that, by the way. I think Mercedes want to do a swap. They want to put Russell past Hamilton. Don't think Hamilton's too happy about it. Have they done the swap? Yeah, they've done the swap. So Russell's 3. He's obviously on a much better strat than Hamilton. I have to... Alonso Alonso must have pitted, right? If Alonso hasn't pitted, he's in massive trouble. Verstappen fastest lap of the race. There's a crash in F1 Manager. Toto doesn't look very happy, but is what it is. Yeah, I think London was a sellout last year. I think London was. I wanted to attend either last year or the year before, but there was some weird thing with the tickets. They weren't doing a lot of normal tickets. Yeah, Verstappen. So this is Verstappen. I mean, how the thing is though, Verstappen's on the hard tyre, right? The McLaren's pitted on lap 2 for hard tyres, so the McLarens think that they can go 55 laps on the hards. In which case Verstappen's sort of delaying unless Verstappen's waiting for a safety car. I think Verstappen really would rather pit under a safety car, right? Again, it comes a bit down to timing. You don't want to be picked up by the safety car immediately and have to do like most of a lap behind it. That would be a disaster. But I think if he pits now, he's going to come behind Perez. I wonder if Perez is like absolutely pushing here, just to make sure that Max can't come out ahead of him. That's what I wonder. Yeah, near the back of the grid. Well, Charles Leclerc's at the back of the grid, isn't he? In P13, he is struggling big time, massively. Someone dives into the pits. It's a Haas. Probably Hulkenberg. Yeah, Hulkenberg's in. I think the people that have waited a long time to pit are going to get absolutely destroyed here. I think Hamilton's going to get destroyed. I think Ocon's going to get destroyed. This is a good test. Hulkenberg comes in. He was in like P8 or something. And he's coming out now. He's already been overtaken by Norris. So he's coming out in P16. Wow. I don't think he's going to... he's going to be on newer tyres, but I don't think he's going to get that back. Thanks, Vlatko. Yeah, feel free to smash that like button. Okay, Verstappen still to pit. Alonso has pitted. Ocon still to pit. Hamilton still to pit. Which will mean that the order will be... Well, if Verstappen was to pit now, the order would be Perez, Verstappen, Alonso. But Alonso quite a long way back. I think Carlos Sainz overtaking someone there. That must be lap traffic. Oh no, was that him overtaking Ocon maybe? Let me double check. Yeah, that was him overtaking Ocon. So Ocon's just falling back anyway. Ocon needs to get in the pits ASAP, I think. I think these people that have gambled on the hard tyres going long from the beginning are going to struggle. That's my guess. Piastri is in 19th, so it's not really working out for Piastri. Although Norris is in 15th. And that gap for Verstappen to Perez is still... It's actually under 16 seconds. What happened to the deal was... I can't see what that is. Delta infos. I don't want to put anything else up, because they might mistake it again for an actual stream of a race. But next time we'll do our own graphics like we've done previously. Still no pit for Verstappen. But he does go fastest. Verstappen just sets the fastest lap of the race on 36 lap old hard tyres. Is he sort of toying with Perez a little bit? Maybe. Yeah, McLaren is looking real... Because I think Hulkenberg's going to get back past Norris. Guan Yu Zhou will as well. So it's looking really dire from McLaren. How they've let themselves get in this position, I really don't know. There's a graphic saying battle for fourth includes Ocon. He's in P5th, but it really doesn't. Ocon's just nowhere. In fact, he's going to get overtaken by Russell here. So the order now is Verstappen, Perez, Alonso, Sainz, Russell. Alonso had a really good... Alonso jumped Sainz massively in the pit stops. I don't understand it. Alonso and Sainz were very close, right? And now Alonso's like 4 seconds ahead of Sainz. So they were... Aston Martin have really worked some kind of wonders there that I don't understand. Working strictly? I don't know how Aston Martin have done that, but they pulled a blinder. He's 4 seconds ahead of Sainz. And that's exactly what they need if they want to get on the podium. Still no pit for Verstappen. Right, there's a Ferrari behind a Haas here. Leclerc on Magnussen. Leclerc is in P12. Really struggling. Well, we'll see about Magnussen because Leclerc's going to try and get past him. Perez sets the fastest lap of the race. Meanwhile, on the back straight, Leclerc with the DRS open. Doesn't look great. Trying to go up the inside of the Haas. He does. Oh! Magnussen thought he might fight it. In fact, Magnussen's going to try and do a cutback here. But it's not going to work. Leclerc gets through into P11. Yeah, they're swapping fastest laps at the top. Magnussen gets the DRS back on the start-finish straight, and he overtakes Leclerc. That's ridiculous. That's one of those weird DRS things, isn't it? Is that just a DRS swap? Leclerc had DRS down the back straight, and it took him really difficult to get the overtake done. And then on the start-finish straight, Magnussen just went up the inside. Yeah, someone just like noped out the chicane. 100%. They were like not having it. Gonna go straight over that. Meanwhile, whoa, we're looking at George Russell absolutely blowing past Carlos Sainz. Wow. Does Carlos Sainz have the 5-second penalty? Did he take that as pit stop? Has he taken it yet? Because he hasn't taken it. This is a disaster for Sainz. Leclerc is battling with Magnussen again. Magnussen is holding him up. It's really bad couple of corners here for both the Ferraris. Leclerc just cannot get past Magnussen. They're going on to that long back straight for the final corner again. So we'll have a look. Leclerc gets DRS, so just going onto the straight. The Haas sort of kind of gets away, but now Leclerc is just, starting to get back, but he's running out of road. Magnussen doesn't go defensive, but Leclerc can't get it done. He just pulls in behind. He was closing, but it was too little too late. Unless he wants a second DRS, which he has this time, to go past the pit entry, onto the start-finish straight. Leclerc's got the DRS, and he's going to try and do exactly what Magnussen did in the previous lap. Goes up the inside. Magnussen might try and hold it around the outside, but he can't. So Leclerc gets past Magnussen. I think that was tactical. I think Leclerc did not want the DRS on the back straight. He wanted it on start-finish straight, in which case that was very smart from Charles Leclerc there. Very smart. I know there were some discussions about DRS. Hulkenberg fastest lap. Oh my word. Where has that come from? What tyre is Hulkenberg on? Yes. Hulkenberg on the mediums in P15 has just set the fast lap on the race. What on earth does that mean? But yeah, I can't hear the commentary, but I bet they're waxing lyrical about Charles Leclerc deciding to not overtake on the back straight. He sort of just compromised Magnussen's entry a little bit and then took the second DRS. So he's navigated that well, but Sainz was made to look a little bit silly by George Russell. And I don't think Sainz will have been able to serve his penalty yet because he only done one stop. So Ferrari just really struggling. George Russell came from a long way back on the side. Sainz, yeah, I think it took Sainz by surprise. Just sort of like absolutely threw it up, and then Sainz just couldn't really turn in. To be fair, great overtake from George Russell. Right, Verstappen is now 17 seconds ahead of Perez. So that gap was 16, it's now 17, so he's stretching his legs a little bit. Is Verstappen trying to now get that pit window? I can't remember what you told me what the pit window was. Was it 17 seconds? If so, it'll be nip and tuck. Verstappen is coming around the last corner now. I think we would have seen the garage on the feed if he was going to pit, but let's see. Is he going to pit? No, I think he goes past pit entry. Hamilton trying to get past a Alpha here of Bottas and can't, but they're coming around that sort of silly chicane and then they're going to go onto the back straight here. They go over the chicane. So how much does the Mercedes have? Just around that last corner there. Now they're onto this back straight. Hamilton with the DRS. He has just pitted, which is why he's back there. So he's on the medium tyres. He's gone all the way back down to P12. Bottas goes very defensive. Hamilton will have to try and go around the outside, but can't do it. He might not mind though. They go around that last corner. Bit of cats and mouse. Bottas didn't really want to be first, and Hamilton's it's a bit embarrassing for Bottas there. Bottas was sort of like dallying. He wanted to get the DRS by being second. Hamilton got both the DRS and was actually ahead of him even before they got to the straight. So Hamilton made Bottas look a little bit silly there. And meanwhile, that must be Ocon coming out. Ocon comes out in between them. So that's absolutely disastrous sequence of events for Bottas there. The image is not live. The image is from the race last year, kind of. No, it isn't. Disaster for Bottas there, really. Hulkenberg still with that fastest lap. Indeed. So most people, I think Verstappen might have been the only driver not to pit now. Just having a look at replay, what happened here. So go around the last corner. Bottas sort of like dawdles a bit. I think he wants Hamilton to get the DRS. Hamilton gets DRS and actually is ahead of Bottas before the activation line. So fun and games there. Bottas might be in a different race, you never know. Verstappen, I think Verstappen is the only driver not to have pitted. And the gap is 17.8, so he's starting to eke it out a little bit. I don't know where they are relative to other cars on the track, traffic-wise. And whether that will play a part. Verstappen goes over that chicane, so he's going onto the back straight. What's going on with the McLarens? The McLarens are not looking good. How's my battery doing? 13%. Keep an eye on that. My ERS. Norris is in P16 and Piastri in P19. They tried a very different strat. They pitted very early, but I don't think it's worked out for them. Verstappen goes around again and is 18 seconds ahead. So he's really putting some time into Perez now. A lot of time. See what's going on. Ah, they're going around the fake marina. It's still fake water there. I thought it was going to be real water. What a weird thing that is. Fair play for doing it though. The battle for P3, by the way. So Alonso's just chilling in P3. He's miles off the Red Bulls. But he is being chased down now by not Sainz, but Russell. So Russell is 7 seconds behind Alonso. So the battle for P3 is going to come down to, I think, George Russell, whether he can make 7 seconds on Alonso, which you would think is not unlikely. But I feel like that gap was 4 seconds to Sainz. So Alonso is sort of extending his claim on P3 generally. Just keep an eye on the gap from Verstappen to Perez. First second is 18 seconds, 18.1 now. Can Perez sort of bring that back under 18 seconds? They're really, I think, going for it here. That's my sense. Only 15 laps to go, by the way. Only 15 laps. Gone quickly, hasn't it? Across the two streams. And people that have work to do in the last 15 laps, well, Charles Leclerc's in P8. He can possibly get past Stroll, and well, Stroll is 2 seconds ahead, but then Gasly in P6 is 9 seconds ahead. He's going to struggle. And then you got Hamilton in P10 is 3 seconds behind Magnussen, and then it is Leclerc. So yeah, Leclerc and Hamilton will want to get some overtakes done here. Yeah, Leclerc is closing in on Lance Stroll. But it's all sort of settling this grid, isn't it? You got the Astons, then you got kind of Red Bulls. Aston in the pits. Who is that? Lance Stroll. Had Lance Stroll not pitted? Surely Lance Stroll had pitted. But if Lance Stroll hadn't pitted, he's going to go a long way back. So he's got some mediums on. 3 second stop for Lance Stroll. And he is going a long way back. He's going back to P15 and was almost overtaken by Lando Norris in P16. So I think the people that, apart from Verstappen, I think the people that gambled long, it hasn't paid off. Alonso could have been one. It could have gambled long, but they didn't. They made that pit. Max hasn't pitted yet. So I think Aston have been quite smart with Alonso, because it might have been tempting just to keep him out there and hope for a pit on the safety car, but there's still 20 cars in this race. Reliability has been very good. You've got to remember, even if a car has a mechanical issue here, the chances of safety car I think are quite high. They just did a graphic there for Roger Federer. That definitely was not Roger Federer. That was... I'm not an expert in tennis, but they've got that horrendously wrong, so that is a meme that you'll be seeing. "13 laps to go, Verstappen hasn't pitted." So when Verstappen pits, he's going to come out on super fresh tyres. He could argue... I think the softs might be too softs here. Too soft to go on, but he could try that. I think that's what the McLarens did. But I think it's going to be touch and go between him and Perez, so we'll see. That's the dude from the Sonic movie. I don't know who the dude is from the Sonic movie. Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah. Is that guy even famous? It's not Roger Federer, though. I don't know about soft tyres. The McLarens only did about 2-3 laps on it. I don't know if the soft's just a qualifying tyre here. By the way, Russell is not really gaining on Alonso. That gap is still 7.7 seconds. So I think Alonso is... This is a great result for Aston. Pick up the P3. Well, Lance Stroll, I don't know what happened with that strategy. That was my level strat on F1 Manager. Oh, does Stroll have damage? I don't know how many laps the softs can go, but I wouldn't be surprised if Verstappen just gets on the mediums. Perez with the fastest lap, by the way. No longer Hulkenberg. Perez with the fastest lap. The gap is 18.2 seconds at the front. Don't know if someone in chat can remind us of the pit loss time. But I reckon it's going to be close. I mean, it's kind of weird, right? The whole race is just coming down to this. It's just we're just waiting for a pit stop. But there's enough drama around it. That's the crazy thing about Formula 1. How's our race? In our race, there's going to be rain at Miami. Who's winning there? Well, Verstappen's winning. But I think it's 1.5 seconds to Leclerc probably behind. Verstappen's boxing. Okay, here we go. Verstappen's in the box. In the pits, I should say. 18.4, it's on the timings as he came in. Is it going to be a clean stop? Comes to his box. Stops. Jack up. Tyres on. Tyres on. Mediums on, fist bumps in the garage. It's a 3.1, which they would... it didn't look like the absolute quickest they can do. So 3.1 second lower, and I reckon Perez is going to come out ahead of Verstappen. It's neck and neck, and Perez is just ahead. Perez is just ahead. I reckon it's turned out to be a 1.5 gap or something like that. So I think it was a little bit... there was fist bumps in the garage, but I think it was a little bit tardy. It wasn't anything... I think 10 years ago that would have been the fastest stop on the grid, but it's just... You know, we've seen people do 2.2s this race, and that was a 3.1 on their stopwatch. So Perez is leading the race. No more pit stops are needed. Verstappen's on the medium tyre. Here we go. We actually have a race in our hands, and there's 11 laps to go. So team orders, radio... This is a Red Bull story here. They're going to be getting a lot of coverage. Mexican fans in the grandstands are loving it. Yeah, this is going to be a fight one way or another. There's going to be drama one way or another. Either Perez is going to win this, or Verstappen's going to get past, or it's going to be like Turkey and they're going to crash, or it's going to be multi-21. We don't know. 1 second is a gap to Verstappen. What I don't want to see is I don't want to see Verstappen get past very easily. But that might happen with the tyre advantage. We don't know. Perez has done 25 laps on the hard tyre. But Verstappen did a lot more. Verstappen did 45 laps. Chat, let me know, what do we think? Who's going to win this race from here? You'd have to be crazy to bet against Verstappen, I think. But if you're Verstappen, do you just go for the kill early? Do you sort of bide your time? Play it more strategic? What if there's a safety car now? So they're going through sort of the infield part of the track where you can't do anything. Verstappen's about a second off. F1 saying edit early and run. Steve saying going to get in with the mediums. Funky saying should be easy. Let's see. They're going down the back straight, which is... we saw Russell overtake there, but it's quite difficult. Then they're going to go into the final sort of twisty bit, and then they're going to go into that back straight, and then that's going to be the big one. Remember, there's 2 DRS zones. You got it on the back straight, and then you got it on the home straight. And the home straight one looks like it could be more effective if you get a nice run. We will see. So they go through that chicane. Verstappen is very close now. It's literally bumper to bumper. They go around that final left-hand corner onto the back straight. Perez is surely going to be absolute toast here. He's going to be absolute toast, you would think. And he might be doing all sorts of overtake. Here comes Verstappen with the DRS. Perez goes defensive. Verstappen has to go to the outside. Perez holds it. So Verstappen doesn't get past last corner. And then it's a DRS. So Verstappen's going to get the DRS now onto the home straight. They go past the pit entry. Is Perez going to go defensive here? Verstappen has the DRS. We seem to be so effective. Perez goes defensive, but Verstappen's going to go clean around the outside. Or is he? Perez is going to keep his foot in it side by side into turn 1. But Verstappen manages to go around the outside. So now it's all... Can Perez basically just keep within a second? He kind of gave it a little bit of a fight. You'd have to say maybe the smart move that we saw Charles Leclerc do earlier is you actually you want to get the DRS on the pit straight. And Verstappen is going to be absolutely giving it everything here on the medium tyres to just not be within that second DRS. So we'll see what can Perez do. There's a very slow car ahead of them. That must be a lap car. Maybe having some issues. I just saw in the zoom shot. The gap at the moment is half a second, it's saying. It's half a second, 17. Oh, it's showing as a replay. We don't want to see a replay now, Mr. Director. We want to see... May as well be on this stream. We're going to show a replay. We want to see what's going to happen as they go onto that last corner again, because they were going through the chicane. Come on, Mr. Director. We don't want to see this replay of what we just saw. Or people in the crowd. That's okay. We know people are going to be happy or disappointed. That's emotions. Still more replays, so I cannot let you know what's going on with the gap, unfortunately. And pit entry. I don't see anything at the back straight. What? Come on. What's going on there? All I can tell you is the gap is now 1.5 seconds and there's a slow McLaren ahead. I wonder, actually, if Verstappen's getting DRS in that McLaren. It might be a little bit too far back. That's absolutely shocking directing there. Terrible. So it's 1.6 seconds with 8 laps to go. And to be honest, the race looks like it's pretty much sewn up. Verstappen leading, Perez won't be able to hold with him. Then there's 15 seconds back to Alonso, who's actually gapping Russell. So the gap from Russell to Alonso is 8.5 seconds. Then there's some madness in the midfield later on, but at the front of the race, I think that's a wrap. Hey guys, Erie is here. Is that the real Eries? Is that the real Eries? No, it isn't the real Eries. It isn't the real Eries. Someone's created a fake Eries account. Why would you do that? Hey guys, fake Erie is here. Nice try there. I rate it. I rate it. What's going on here? There's a Haas on a Williams, way down the grid. Might be Hulkenberg on Albon. Albon's doing a stellar job in P14. You had it. Fake Rory had it good, but I think I don't know how to spell Arias, but I'm pretty sure that's not how you spell Arias. But someone in the world has actually gone out and created that. Like, fair play for that level of dedication. What's going on? Gap for Verstappen to Perez is 1.8 seconds now. Deary me. Deary me. I think it is fair to say that you following this race like this, you've basically experienced, I say, 95% of the race, because the race has just been about when's Verstappen going to pit. That's it. And what happens when he pits. Like, that's it. You really haven't missed out on anything. Alonso's on the radio saying, which position is Lance? Great move into turn 1. Don't know if he's being sarcastic there. Or something. I don't know what's going on there. Some banter. What doesn't it reel? Ryan saying Max is ace the hard stint. Yeah, I mean, Max has done everything he needed to do here. It's even sort of settling now. Like, Leclerc's back in 7th. Hamilton's in 8th. Like, it just sort of... The cream sort of rises to the top, doesn't it? It just rises. I mean, Perez is at 1.8 seconds behind, but it might just be Verstappen's just... I personally wouldn't be comfortable being 1.8 seconds behind. I'd want to have a bit more of a gap. Because if you have a bad corner or something... Perez on the radio saying, is Max struggling? And the radio saying, just managing in Sector 1. So I don't think there's some psychology here. Yeah, Logan Sargent is... almost said Logan Paul. It's just like literally nowhere. He may as well be on the freeway. He's not even really a part of this race. Welcome Saihanudin Gaming. Ryan saying medium's the best of his fuel load. That is the conventional idea, yeah, as the cars are lighter. But I think Perez is actually closing the gap. I don't want to overstate it. It went from 1.8 to 1.7. But...
Can we change tires?
And to 1.6. Let me monitor this gap for you. Ah, now to 1.9. I think the Del's just sort of jumping all around, but... And now 2.1. So, big fluctuations there. Massive ones. Shall we pin fake areas? Where is he? There we go. Some people leaving the grandstands already, maybe trying to beat traffic. Funky saying just taking care, yeah. But I think lap 52 out of 57, by the way, if you're following on your phone. The best way to like watch this, I think, is have on your phone or your computer, where just have like the live timings up, and then we just chat. That's basically what it is, isn't it? Oh, what's happened here? Major tyre wear for Ricciardo. It's also lap 51 in this game. I'm going to ignore that. Go on, Daniel Ricciardo. You can do it. Yeah, F1 Manager looks insanely good. It was such a good game. I really hope 23 is going to be a lot better. Hopefully we could do some stuff with 23, like get more involved in it. We'll see. There's Lance Stroll making a move on Valtteri Bottas. Lance Stroll in P12. I don't think he's going to be able to get into the top 10. He'd have to make up another 7 seconds, but we'll see. My connection actually broke hearing that voice. Is the stream okay, by the way? It's not, like, juddery. Like, it's really juddery in my preview, so let me know. I think it's okay. The gap is too big. Yeah, agreed, F1 edits. Christian Horner's on the pit wall, so it's all saying up for them. Rory says, I tried to the Olympics on GT7. Very nice. Stream's okay, nice. I think Ricardo probably just span in R1. Verstappen sets the fastest lap, so he's just dominating now. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, F1. Thanks, Ryan. But yeah, pretty much no drama here. Lap 53. I mean, anything can happen, but I mean, I think 20 cars finishing would actually be a good thing for Formula 1 in a way. We're on board here with a Ferrari. Okay, Leclerc is half a second behind Gasly, going past pit entry on the home straight. Leclerc will have the DRS. It's quite a way back though. Is Gasly going to go defensive? Yes, he does. Leclerc can't get past. Oh, Gasly locks up into actual turn 1 though. So Leclerc goes around the outside. So the order now is Verstappen first, Perez second, Alonso third, Russell fourth, fifth Sainz, sixth Charles Leclerc, seventh Gasly, eighth Hamilton. So the Ferraris are doing as pretty much as good as they could do, right? I mean, they're not going to beat first and second. Let's be real. So the best they could do is third and fourth. And at the moment, they're fifth and sixth. So, you know, kind of decent salvage job, I think, from the Ferraris. Speed's absolutely bored out of his mind. Yeah, it's honestly, you haven't missed watching this race. I can tell you that. What's happening to De Vries? Yeah, people think De Vries might lose his seat, which I don't know, but he was obviously seen as very hot prospect coming in, but hasn't quite worked. Yeah, Max in the chat, like in Gran Turismo. Hamilton, by the way, okay, a little bit of drama maybe. Hamilton, so we just saw Charles Leclerc overtake Gasly for P6. Hamilton followed him through. Hamilton is now half a second behind Charles Leclerc. They're going around the very last corner. I'm going to go past pit entry. Hamilton will have the DRS. I think he'll be too far behind. Let's see. But he'll have the DRS. I think Hamilton is going to spoil the Ferrari party here. And we might end up it being Mercedes, Russell, Sainz, Ferrari, Hamilton, Mercedes, and Leclerc, Ferrari, if Hamilton can get past. Nice on F1 edits. Worst thing to do. Yeah, I don't know when the Olympics... Doesn't the Olympic time trial end very soon? Yeah, Miami is just... Yeah, it's not conducive to the best racing, but people said, like, Catalonia's not conducive to the best racing, but last year at Catalonia, when I was there, was such a good race because of the deck. Hamilton goes up the inside of Charles Leclerc in the back straight, the sort of, not the last straight, the back straight, and Hamilton gets past, so Hamilton's in P6. Which you would expect, because Hamilton was generally doing better than Leclerc in this race, I think. Leclerc is 7/10 behind on now the back straight. So he's got DRS open, but he's going to be too far back. He might get the double DRS effect, though. The director's cut. Director, what are you doing? So we know he overtook. We want to see if he's going to get the double DRS. I swear, this director has no clue. Just shots of people in their very expensive F1 shirts. Now let's cut back and see what's going on. Let's cut somewhere else. Okay, fantastic. Amazing. Well, Leclerc was 3/10 behind in the standings, but I can't see what's going on.
So there are 4 laps to go.
4 laps to go in F1 Manager, and there are 2 laps to go in the real race. And it's turned out from P9, Verstappen's won it. Verstappen's got this season sewn up. He's absolutely dominated Perez here. The Red Bulls have dominated the rest of the field. I mean, the Red Bulls are 30 seconds ahead of the next Ferrari. It's pretty mad. What's your favourite driver? I don't really have a favourite driver, to be honest. Yeah. Maybe in F1 Manager we can do that, just catch the crowds. Rory says trailers absolutely like the real game. Yes, especially the cars flipping and on fire. Exactly right, Daily Race A. Verstappen's fastest lap. He's now 4 seconds ahead of Perez. Just pure domination. Alonso's chilling in P3. Alonso's 20 seconds off the Red Bulls. But he's 7 seconds ahead of Russell, so that gap's come down a little bit from 8 seconds, 7 seconds. But Alonso definitely has to be, well, who do you give driver of the day? Do you give driver of the day to Alonso, or do you give it to Verstappen? That's a tough one, right? I feel like you have to give it to Alonso here, I really do. Because Verstappen clearly has the machine. Obviously, he's probably the best driver on the grid, but he definitely has the best car. That is without question. Ryan's giving it to Verstappen. Defiant's giving it to Alonso. Okay, okay. Oh, something's happened with the game. Major tyre wear. Don't worry about it, Lando. You'll be alright. Going on to the last lap now. Welcome, Nida. Good to see you. Last lap. Verstappen is 5 seconds ahead of Perez. He sets his fastest lap on the penultimate lap as well. But the big story here, we haven't seen a lot of him on the TV coverage actually. It's going to be Alonso in P3. Alonso on the podium as the oldest driver in Formula 1. Okay. And his teammate, Lance Stroll, is in P12. So Alonso and the team have done a great job there on the strategy and everything. Spinney giving it to Logan Sargent. He's a cool 11 seconds off Piastri there, which is not great because Albon's in P14. Albon's only a few positions off the points. Steve saying Alonso. John saying he could beat these guys on his motorbike. Phantom saying Alonso. Yeah, we made it, chat. We made it. I'll have to let F1 know that they need to take that back. Take that back. You're severely mistaken. Some debris on the back straight. Not really debris, just leaves and stuff. Verstappen goes through it.
Safety car deployed. Safety car.
Apart from, well, in F1 Manager safety car, but no safety cars in this race and no retirements. 20 cars. Okay, and really a very boring race. That is quite a boring race, but I don't think most of the fans in Miami are going to care or know about that too much. And very good result for Verstappen, obviously. That is a world champion performance. That's the kind of performance that we would have seen from Hamilton a few years ago when he had the dominant car, and now it's Verstappen's turn. And here comes Alonso. Hopefully they're all going to be on the pit wall for this one. Let's see. Yes, they are. All spread out. Alonso does a little sort of half burnout as well. So very nice. Alonso P3. And then it's going to be Russell P4. And I don't think there's too much to play for down the field. Best commentator can't stop us, yeah. Going to become F1's Mark Goldbridge. Oh, I don't know about that. We could do. We could try it. Why don't we try it? We need to come up with some better graphics and pretend I'm in the studio. I can key this out. Hang on. I can key this out right now. Have a look at this. NVIDIA background removal. Oh, why did we do this? Where's my arm though? I'm such a terrible streamer. What do we think? What about the microphone? Do we like it like this? Should we do it like this next time? Or not? It kind of struggles here. This stuff is meant to work flawlessly. Why does it not? Why can't you not see my hand? It's because there's no light. Oh, maybe there's no light on it. Hang on, what if we turn the light on? Boom. That's better. Yeah. That's kind of blinding though. Let me turn that down. Could put a green screen. What if I turn the lights green? Does that work? We should have done it like this. We should do GT like this. Should we? Oh, I forgot my phone was there. Don't need that anymore. Should we do GT like this tonight? What do we think? Or do you like having the background? It kind of weirds me out. I like having the background. Ah, it takes up so much real estate though. Let me know in Discord. But yeah, that is the race. Absolutely atrocious race, really. Very boring. What's next on the calendar? Let's see. Let me go to F1 calendar. So that's G1 calendar. Official calendar of races. Italy, United States, Spain, and then Monaco back to back. So Catalonia in 2 weeks, I think. So it's not a back-to-back week. Thanks, thank you very much. Every race. Well, we do it for the next month because I paid for a month. We just need to. Maybe I need to pre-warn Formula One and just say, "Hey, look, I'm going to be doing this. Please don't take my streams down. That's not cool, bro." Looks great. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Almost 1,000 views on this second stream, which is absolutely insane. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. 10 o'clock, but I'm going to do some editing now, some videos, and almost certainly I'll be streaming GT tomorrow morning. So we'll do some GT. I can't remember what race B is. I think race B might be the one for us. We'll see. But yeah, thanks everyone. And another win for Max Verstappen. I'll see you all